Hello listeners, this is Steve from MakCorp and delighted to give you an update for the ASX resource sector for week ending the 14th of November 2025. And we'll start by looking at the performance of the market last week and the ASX resource stocks. And as you can see on the screen now, we're looking at week ending. This is the weekly period percentage gain loss report with lots of other information available in it. And we can see, the top performers for the week by the percentage gain loss, with Lake Resources being the top performer. And as we can see here, lots of lithium stocks along with gold and other. So Lake Resources was the top performer with 67.65% gain last week. And we can see volume, current market cap, share value traded. So there was 12 million plus traded in LKE or Lake Resources last week, and nearly 10% of the company was traded. So quite a lot of information there. But what I really want to highlight here, if we head to this one, we can see the last 12 weeks, and we're particularly looking at the ASX resource sector as a whole. And over here we see the graph, and we can see there was a difficult 3 weeks, early November, late October, and now finally we're back in the positive. So an average weekly gain of 4.56% last week, which is a great week. As we can see, volumes sort of down for the last 3 or 4 weeks, leading into Christmas and the new year. That'll probably stay similar to those sort of volumes. So a very positive week for the ASX resource sector last week, and we can see other bits of information there. There was 660 ASX resource stocks traded, and everything is as of one filtered on 1 cent or higher. That way we get a good percentage gain. If we include all the low spec stocks below 1 cent, then this sort of percentage would be a lot higher and not as accurate. We can see there was 393 stocks that traded in the green, 88 with no gain, and 179 in the red. As you can see to the prior 3 weeks, very positive and nearly triple in the green from the prior 3 weeks. So that's just an overview of the performance for week ending the 14th of the 11th, 2025. There's lots of other information, as you've seen with last week's update in this report, but they were the 2 standouts or highlights. Now we'll look at the project activity for the week. So we're now in the platform, we're in the projects dashboard, and I've filtered on project updates just for last week. We can see it involved 169 ASX resource stocks with 184 projects. And again, we can filter on anything here that we particularly want to see. And some of the things we may want to look at is we might want to look at by commodity. And we, as mentioned last week, we have 2 fields. We have priority commodity, which is what the ASX company is and project are focused on, and like a byproduct or commodity in general. And the other field that you might want to filter on is project activity, depending on how you want to dissect the stock. And you may just want to look at drilling completed or different project stages, etc., as far as filtering stocks. But I'm not going to filter anything. I'm just going to go through the highlights of last week for the project updates. As we scroll down, we can see by priority commodity on this side, so predominantly gold, copper and lithium updates, along with rare earths and other commodities. And these are the byproducts. Scroll down, we can see the project stages. Predominantly exploration projects were updated last week, but we also have other project stages. As mentioned last week, this just gives you an overview of what each project stage means. Then we have the project activity, lots of drilling completed, so lots of essays coming out, which we'll have a look at. And then again, we can see the other project activities that are happening: current drilling, field work, acquisitions, drilling commencing, JORC updates, agreements that were made last week, studies, permits, projects sold, mergers and acquisitions, etc. This gives you a good overview of the activity last week. So there were 42 updates for drilling. Then there was field work, current drilling, etc. 8 updates for JORCs or MREs, and that gives you an overview or the meaning of the project activity types. Scrolling down, we can see the project locations, predominantly Australia, but also United States and other, Brazil, Canada, etc. and other, and also project location area / regions. Eastern Goldfields in WA was the predominant one with project updates last week, along with Murchison also in the WA, as is Pilbara. Lachlan Folders, mentioned last week, is probably the longest region or area in the world. It starts in Queensland, goes through New South Wales, Victoria, and across to New Zealand. Gawler Creighton, which we have a few clients in South Australia, including Barton Gold, Coda Minerals, and Oroville. And as we scroll down, we can scroll and see the different project activities for last week, who the activity was from, the commodity involved, the date, the activity completed, project name, current market cap, project region / area, and the overview of the announcement. Scrolling down, we're only going to look at the drilling for this week. So we can see the top drilling by grade. So top drilling results by grade, and that involved code IVG, was graphite. The project was Morogoro, and there was the grade for the graphite 8.5% with an intersect of 48 meters, very shallow at 1 meter, and it worked out 400 grams per percentage. Then an overview of the drilling result. So that's the top 20, as we can see there, of the essays released this week. And scrolling down, we can also see the top 20 by intersect. So AZY with copper and gold had the best intersect last week, and we can also see the grade of the best intersect and the depth of the best intersect, along with the overview. So some quite good information there, but some of the things investors or ASX resource companies might want to do is compare results. They can look at current drilling, market caps, and do all those sort of comparisons and research to see whether stocks are either worth investing in or where they stand against their peers. So that's the update as an overview for the projects and performance of the ASX resource sector for last week. If anyone's interested in subscribing to MakCorp or wants to have a look at it in more detail, please contact me at steve@MakCorp, makcorp.net.au, or you can contact me on 08 for Perth 6383 7315, and we can go through that in more detail. Hope you've enjoyed our update for the week ending the 14th of November 2025. Just lastly, obviously I've got some clients in the resource sector. I can quickly get a snapshot. I've got a group of my clients, I've already got them up there, and I can get a snapshot of how they're performing by market performance, and also check what updates, if I've missed any, what updates they've done last week. So we can see all the activity for our clients in the most recent announcements and what type of activity, etc. So lots of activity happening in the resource sector, and a fantastic week as far as the performance on percentage gain. Hope you've enjoyed our update, and look forward to any feedback and what else you might want to see in MakCorp. Thanks for your time.